Adekemi stood frozen, her heart racing as the accusing eyes of her younger brother, Femi, bore into her. "Kemi, where's Mama's money?" Femi demanded, his voice a mixture of disbelief and anger. The afternoon sun blazed over the family compound, intensifying the heat between them. "I told you, I don't know," Adekemi replied, her voice rising. "Why would I touch Mama's money?" Femi shook his head, unyielding. "You were the last one in the room. Stop pretending, Kemi. It's not funny, and it's not smart." Sahara dust settled gently over the clay pots by the wall as Adekemi clenched her fists, trying to rein in her frustration. She couldn't believe this was happening. They were siblings. They trusted each other, or so she thought. The conversation carried through the compound, reaching the ears of the women across the communal courtyard. Auntie Bola clicked her tongue, sharing a knowing look with the others. "Ah, this family matter is becoming something else," she murmured under her breath. Adekemi could sense the whispers around her. She could feel the judgment crawling on her skin as she turned her back to the curious onlookers. It was a small comfort, but she held on to her dignity tightly and returned inside, leaving Femi outside to fume. Later that evening, Adekemi sat with her father, contemplating the events over a bowl of steaming eforiro. "Baba, Femi thinks I took Mama's money," she confessed, breaking the silence. Her father's expression was unreadable, like the ever-watchful baobab tree outside their home. "Did you?" he asked simply, eyes steady on her face. She shook her head, tears threatening. "I swear, Baba, I didn't. You have to believe me." He nodded slightly, not wanting to show which way he leaned. "We must find the truth, my daughter. Truth is like smoke. It will eventually be seen," he remarked, offering a hint of solace. But his withheld conviction left a sting. That night, a quiet tension simmered in the house. Adekemi lay on her mat, unable to sleep as the weight of the silent accusations smothered her. Shadows danced on the mud walls, confronting her thoughts with their erratic movements. A soft knock on the door startled her. It was Femi. "I set up a camera," he announced simply, lacking both triumph and malice, just a chilling resolution. "We'll know tomorrow." Adekemi's stomach twisted. She knew she had done nothing wrong, but the notion of surveillance, of being watched without her knowledge, filled her with deep unease. Femi gathered the family the next evening. The small television screen flickered under the dim light as he inserted a tape. Adekemi watched, breathless and tense. The grainy footage showed their mother's room, empty at first. Then the door opened, and Adekemi stepped inside. "See, there she is," Femi said quietly. Adekemi watched herself walk to the table, pause, then exit, her heart pounding. It was a brief moment, but the seed of doubt planted was enough. "Why did you go into Mama's room?" Femi questioned, softer now, yet resolute. She swallowed hard. "I thought I'd heard Mama call me. I didn't even touch anything." The family, silent, processed the weight of the footage. Each glance felt like 1,000 probing fingers pointing at her. "Femi, why did you have to do this?" Adekemi managed, her voice breaking. "I'm your sister, your blood. Does the footage prove anything?" Femi pinched the bridge of his nose, his frustration mixing with doubt. "Kemi, I didn't mean to hurt you, but we had to know." The pain in the words struck them both, peeling back layers of trust and exposing raw wounds. As Adekemi left the room, she felt a shroud of invisibility settling over her, masking her hurt, her voice unheard. Alone, Adekemi paced in her room. Her emotions raged like a storm at sea, each wave crashing against her resolve to remain calm. The camera footage was inconclusive, but the seed of doubt it sowed in their hearts was destructive. Determined to clear her name, she thought of the market and the trader she'd heard speaking about a mysterious disappearance. She would go there, talk to him. Maybe he knew something. She knew one thing. She couldn't let this betrayal stand. "Truth is like a lion," she whispered to herself. "Set it free, and it will defend itself." Kemi met with the trader the next day. His market stall bustled with energy, vendors shouting their offerings, the scent of spices filling the air. "Oga Ade?" she called respectfully as she approached, dropping into an effortless squat. He glanced up, curiosity mixed with recognition. "Ah, Adekemi, the one in trouble," he noted knowingly. "Please, help me if you can," she implored. "Did anyone say anything strange or see something in the past few days?" He stroked his chin, pondering. Perhaps. There's always something to see, but for a favor. His voice trailed off suggestively. Kemi closed her eyes for a moment, summoning patience akin to Job's. I can't pay you now, but I'll owe you a favor. The trader smiled slightly. There was something honest about Adekemi's plea that prompted a rare goodwill. Fair enough. Meet old woman BC by the corner. She might know more than I do. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the marketplace, Adekemi sought through crowded alleys until she found the old woman. BC's hair was silver-threaded, her eyes sharp and assessing. They say you're the one who took something from your mother, she began without preamble. Startled, Adekemi tried to protest. But BC waved her hand dismissively. Hush, child. Sometimes people hide things right under their noses, but remember, the truth does not hide for long if it's sought earnestly. Kemi leaned forward. Her heart raced with hope mixed with anxiety. Do you know something that can help me? The old woman turned her gaze upward. New arms are wielded in old wars. Look to what's been hidden beneath, and the truth shall catch flame. Adekemi left, the lashed hints buzzing in her head like bees. New arms. Old wars, she mused, heading home. Her mind wandered back to the camera footage. Something had nagged at her then, but with BC's words lighting the way, realization tugged closer. If only she knew what it meant. Suddenly, Femi's unspoken reticence took on new layers. Had he unknowingly held the key all along? As Adekemi approached the edge of the compound, shadows from the setting sun enveloped her. She stopped short, heart pounding as she noticed Femi standing in the clearing. His face was a storm of conflict. Kemi, he called, his voice strained. I need to show you something. I might have made a mistake that... His voice faltered, trailing over the jagged edge of a confession. The air was thick with the weight of his suspended revelation, a tipping point complete with a sense of terrifying anticipation. What Femi would reveal next would change everything, forever. The darkness settled, carrying both the promise of truth and the burden of betrayal. Tomorrow would bring a dawn unlike any other. Adekemi felt a heaviness in the air, almost like she could touch it. Femi took a deep breath, his eyes darting around nervously. Kemi, he finally began, I might have misjudged things. Adekemi's heart skipped. Part of her desperately wanted to rush in with relief, but anger still coiled tight within her. What do you mean, Femi? She managed, her voice a tightrope between hope and bitterness. I was reviewing the footage again, Femi explained shakily, and this time I checked around the room. I found something. It's Mama's money. It was under that old mat by her bed. Confusion swirled within Adekemi. That very spot had been cleaned by them both when Mama was at the hospital. Mama must have hidden it herself, but the damage was done. Why didn't you trust me? Adekemi's words came out strained, her emotions a mixture of betrayal and sadness. Femi hesitated, eyes turning glassy. I was so sure it had to be you. Who else? I thought I was protecting Mama. The twilight enveloped them as the implications sank into their bones. With a profound stillness filling the air, Femi glanced away. I've wronged you, Kemi, he admitted, shame lining each word. I let fear get the better of me. Adekemi sighed, a laden sound that echoed the defeat inside her. We used to be a team, Femi. How did we get here? She turned away, not wanting him to see her tears. Femi reached out, placing a hesitant hand on her shoulder. We can fix this. I'll explain to Baba and everyone. They'll know you're innocent. But the rift felt wide, as if trying to bridge it would send ripples nobody could undo. She glanced at Femi, seeing his genuine regret, but her heart felt sore, bound with distrust. The next day, Femi did as he promised, but it was not so simple. Though their father listened and nodded, the whispers at the compound persisted. Neighbors had already picked sides, and Auntie Bola's tongue remained wagging despite the resolution. They said it was Anini's fault, muttered one, referring to a notorious outlaw, still suspicious of the family drama. Adekemi felt like each day was a struggle, a painful reminder of fragile familial bonds. She noticed the wary eyes of the neighbors, the slight hesitation when friends spoke to her. Each interaction served as a small cut, deepening a wound that seemed impossible to heal. She sought solace as she wandered to the river, hoping to find some semblance of peace among the rushing waters and towering trees. Standing by the river bank, Adekemi gazed into the waters, the flow much like her thoughts, troubled, restless. She hadn't noticed Yemi, the pastor's son, approaching until he spoke. "Ah, Adekemi, it's been a while. Mind if I join you?" "Do as you please." She tried to sound indifferent, but a part of her was grateful for the company. Yemi sat beside her, quiet for a moment. Finally, he spoke softly. "I heard what happened. I want you to know that sometimes when we seek truth, heartbreak follows." Adekemi shook her head, bitter. "What good is truth when it's lined with so much pain?" Yemi thought, then replied, "Pain is part of our journey, Kemi, but redemption can come. Even now God has not forsaken you." She listened, skeptical yet yearning for comfort. "I don't feel it, Yemi," she confessed. "I prayed yesterday, but nothing changed. My heart is still in turmoil." He nodded, understanding. "Sometimes we need to see deeper than our pain. Remember when Christ healed, it wasn't as much about the miracle as it was about who he was for us. We are redeemed not because life becomes perfect, but because his presence carries us through." Adekemi sat with his words, letting them sink into her. She felt a small release within her, like a knot loosening. Returning home, she knew resolving things wouldn't be instantaneous, but she felt a shift inside, like sunlight filtering through dense clouds. As she entered the compound, she found Femi waiting. "Can we talk?" he asked tentatively. They walked to the back of the house, far away from prying ears. Femi looked at her earnestly. "I'm truly sorry, Kemi. I hurt you deeply. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope in time we can be okay again." A soft sigh escaped Adekemi as she weighed her words. "It will take time, Femi, but I believe we can try." She tried to smile, a fragile truce in her heart. "We're family. Maybe this will make us even stronger." An unspoken agreement settled between them as they stood under the fading twilight, letting the tentative grains of hope take root. With the muted sounds of the evening settling around them, Adekemi finally said, "I know one thing, Femi. Bit by bit, there's healing for us." And as Femi nodded, she felt something close to peace. Not perfect, but enough to remind her of grace in the everyday battles. It was a beginning, a glimmer of light where darkness had overshadowed days before. They stayed outside a while longer, the night encompassing them with whispers of promises renewed. Betrayal might have cast a shadow, but slowly, through faith and family, came the comforting rays of redemption.
Thank you so much for listening to this intriguing story. I hope it touched you or taught you something. For more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. And guys, if you'd like to see a part 2, or you have thoughts on what happened, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.